Hello and a Merry Christmas from us lot at fucking Real Arsenal Talk. And as I say that, Stevie's just taking a drink, so that's a toast to everyone. And thank you for being here with us throughout this whole season. Stevie, please take it away.
Yeah, how are you doing, Larry? How's things? How's the little Tom?
Well, little Tommy boy's all right. You know, a bit of a terror, and obviously this episode's coming a day after it was meant to be recorded because the little one he was like, I know what you want to do. I know you're busy, but unfortunately, I have needs. So, yeah, they take priority apparently, and who would have known, right?
Yeah, surprisingly, you don't look tired, which I'm getting confused and concerned about because you're not looking tired, mate. How old are you now? 10 days, 2 weeks?
So almost 2 weeks, and it'll be 2 weeks on Christmas Eve. But I'm not tired right now because I have just finished work, so I've got all this energy, from work and moving around and stuff. But I'm sure at the end of this episode, I am going to be dead. And send flowers, send flowers, everyone. But yes, like I said, a massive welcome to everyone. And look. We're going to chat about the Everton game. We're going to chat about the Crystal Palace game, which is upcoming as we record this. And
he must get his looks from his mum as well. I was thinking, he's a handsome little boy, isn't he?
Hey, he's a cute one, but come on now, right?
I know, yeah.
It's for the people out there to decide. Yeah, I'm not gonna diss myself.
Yeah, he's a cool kid.
Yeah, I mean, he's very hungry. That's for sure, and which is good. We're not complaining. It's just sometimes a bit difficult to work out how much he needs. You know what I mean? Sometimes he'll go to like 120 mil, and then other times like he's happy with 60, and he'll just sort of literally flop. Obviously, the picture that I sent you last night, he's just absolutely flopped. Just as soon as the bottle finished, he was like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this now." So that's the best part, where you think, "All right, I'm just going to put you in bed now," which is great. And I'll see you in another couple of hours, my friend. We'll do this again. Oh, hold on, Stevie. You have just broke up a second. You have just broke up a little minute right there, my friend. Oh, no. What's happened? It's dead. It's died, apparently. Okay. Where did Stevie go? Stevie's just disappeared on me, everyone. I don't know what happened. I'm still recording, but where's he gone? We don't know where he's gone. Okay, we will find out very soon. But please bear with us throughout these technical difficulties because we've had to move places of recording and so on and so forth. Okay, so after those technical difficulties, we are back as always. It won't be a Real Arsenal Talk episode if there wasn't some sort of technical difficulties or movements of offices. We're not permanent to this, but we try. Anyway, Stevie, so I don't even know where we were, to be honest. But either way, we're gonna chat a bit about the Everton game, and we are on a bit of a time constraint tonight, so we're gonna try and keep it as brief as possible. Probably skip the player ratings. I know everyone loves those, but unfortunately, this time the reason. One of the main reasons, not even just the time, it's just I feel like I'm going to repeat myself a lot on some of the usual suspects. But I will say this in advance that for me, Rice was probably man of the match. I thought he was fantastic again.
Yeah, just going on that. Yeah, we won't do player ratings, but what I've done, I've categorised. I've sort of basically done 3 or 4 players as the worst, 3 or 4 players as average.
Let's do it.
Good and man of the match. So I haven't sort of obviously give scores, but I've just categorised them in sort of order as in shiteness to good.
Well, I'll tell you what. Then we'll do a brief chat about the game because again, it wasn't the most exciting of matches. And then we'll get on straight onto the categories. I actually like the way that sounds. I'm intrigued to see what's because I've got my, like I said, my man of the match. I've already spoiler for everyone. It is Declan Rice. But the 3 worst players, I haven't actually thought that much about it. But good shout. So look, Stevie, from the lineup itself, was there any questions, any surprises, any shocks, or let me just? Oh, okay, right, let's do it. Hit me with it.
Straight away, surprise was Saka starting as opposed to Madueke. You know our feelings. Everybody knows the feelings on Saka, and obviously the game wasn't great, but God knows how he got man of the match, which we'll come on to. But no, surprise was didn't see Madueke, and he hasn't played in 2 games now, so I am a bit concerned. That will obviously affect Madueke, I think, as well. Like, he's probably thinking, I've had a great game in Bruges, and he's not played now for 2 games. Now, what does he need to do? What does he need to do, really? I was okay with Trossard starting. Obviously, I wanted Gyökeres to start, and I'm glad he scored. The midfield, we can talk about Odegaard and Eze till the cows come home, but the defence, I think that was pretty much standard what we were going to see, to be fair.
Well, in midfield, for me, it was obviously Odegaard and Zubimendi, and okay, again, I know we're sort of kind of jumping ahead, but since it's been mentioned, for me, Zubimendi had probably one of the weakest games. I felt like he was pretty much sort of bossed around a little bit in the midfield, and as some of our players were actually bossed around, but yeah, for me, the midfield, again, Rice was the guy who kept that midfield alive. And even just before the second half started, you can see him in the tunnel just sort of, making plans with Nkapie and stuff. So yeah, for me, I'm really happy that Rice is sort of taking charge, because he's probably thought like, well, do you know what? Fuck this, no one's doing anything, so I'm going to have to step up and actually do something here. But yeah. So Saka, I wouldn't say a surprise that he started, but I'm more surprised the fact that Madueke never actually came on, like you said, and that's quite concerning, because as far as we can tell, there isn't any injuries or anything like that. So I'm a bit like sort of confused as to why he's not coming on. But yeah, either way, look, Saka was there, and I don't know what rating you're reading from, but here he didn't get man of the match, which is more than fair.
I think it was this guy, Alan Smith, his usual shite.
Alan Smith absolutely hates Arsenal, by the way. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Find me a commentary, apart from FIFA, the games, right, where he's actually praised Arsenal. Everything that we fucking do, good or bad, he's always on it. If it's a good thing, he's like, oh yeah, well maybe should have done it the other way. It's like, Alan, just shut up, man. Do you know what I mean? For me, he absolutely hates Arsenal. But yeah, going back to the lineup, in terms of the back line, no real surprises there at all. I think they sort of speak for themselves, and we're almost to full strength in terms of the back line.
Barring Gabriel,
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, but even Nkapie, he's been good enough anyway. So you can't really put that. You can't put him down on that. But yeah, no real surprises. Maybe, like you said, maybe Madueke could have started this game. Maybe an Eze could have started instead of Odegaard. But yeah, we saw what we saw, and I wasn't. Look, as an overall sort of performance and on paper, we kind of got what we always knew we were going to get. Do you know what I mean? When you see these players on paper, you think, all right, I can see the type of game that Arteta's going to play away from home, because we have seen it, and unfortunately it played out like that in a way. The first half I thought we were sort of better, but there was still chances that we missed and so on, which we should have put the game away, really, like with some of the chances. But again, going back to Saka, I don't even know why. He had one of the best chances in the second half, but just could not fucking put it away. And you think, dude, you're supposed to be the star boy and so on. But yeah, for me, the sort of the weakest out of that sort of group after the match, obviously, was probably Zubimendi. Just felt like their midfield was a little bit stronger, and Rice was probably a little bit too occupied with going up. Making those runs up and sort of linking up with Trossard as much as he could. But yeah, in terms of the result then, real quick, from what you saw, did it excite you? I mean, I know it's 3 points.
The result does, obviously,
but
the result does, but it doesn't, if you know what I mean. Like, if it had been a 5-0 stomping, then the result and the performance, I would be excited. But I think it's because it just carried on from the Wolves game that I felt deflated still. And I know, you sent me a message about Man City, and I knew, I didn't look at the results. I knew for a fact that the torture West Ham, it was just a given that. And I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. I think obviously I said, when Man City play, they'll be top and we'll be playing catch up, and it was all about the result because the pressure was on. And I do know what you're saying, and the performance was pitiful. It was arguably just as bad as the Wolves game, but
absolutely.
The result is all that matters.
Yep.
And this is what we have to accept at this moment in time. And a lot of people, me included, don't think we stand a chance of winning the Premiership or the Champions League just purely on that performance. But at the same time, I don't know what your thoughts are. We can't get any worse. We can only get better. Man City could have a drop-off. Villa could have a drop-off because they're both playing unbelievable at the moment. We're playing shit, but we're still top. Now, I'm hoping, I'm praying that, like you, that we can actually find some rhythm and actually put some decent performances in, and to sort of fit, because obviously Man City and Villa thinking, look at Arsenal, they're going to slip up any minute. We haven't, which is lucky. But yeah, performance wise, really, really, really sort of question, my faith really, and I haven't got any at the moment.
No, I know what you mean, and it is pretty much on par with the Wolves match, just maybe tiny bit better in the first half of this one. But again, it's not like Everton fought hard to come at us or anything like that, and it's not like they sat in a low block, and that's why you would have thought, this is the time for us to actually just end all speculation about our forwards and the goals that we're scoring or not scoring. But because like Man City, they're scoring goals, man. They're scoring goals and they're winning games. Aston Villa are doing exactly the same. They're fighting to the very death. They just, again, it's the fear. You said it last episode. It's the fear, and I feel it's crept in again. The inevitable fear. So. Like this is why it becomes increasingly difficult to sort of sit down and have a rational conversation about the matches, especially when we perform like this, because we can't. It seems like we're always negative, but again, we've seen this before. As we've always said, we've seen this before. This has happened. We've experienced it. Nothing new here. Man City catching up to us, that's nothing new. Barring Liverpool last season, that's who it's been. It's been Arsenal versus City. But has it really? It hasn't. It's just been City. They've sort of been going like, yeah, keep the first place warm for us, lads. We'll come swoop it in. We'll like, you know what I mean? You'll do the hard work at the beginning, then we'll just fall off by the end. Which, yeah, I hope it doesn't. And yeah, we won against Wolves, we won against Everton. But come on now, a better team, like Chelsea, for example, a slightly better team than the two, but. They could cause you damage, and we got a draw against them. Luckily, we got a draw against them, and there were 10 men, which is crazy. So yeah, it was another performance where I don't really want to delve too deep into it, because, like I've said before, it's just repeating what we've been saying. Nothing's really changing, and the fact that, again, he's not making changes like Madueke coming on for Saka, and I was screaming for that at the second half. I was like, take Saka off, bring Madueke on. There's no reason to keep Saka on this pitch, because he didn't do shit. Mykolenko absolutely pocketed him. For the majority of the match, maybe barring the last sort of 10 minutes or whatever, he absolutely pocketed Saka. Like, he didn't give him a sniff. And Mykolenko was probably if they'd won, Mykolenko probably would be the man of the match, to be honest, because he was actually very, very good.
He was. I wrote on a social media website, an Arsenal forum, and I mentioned that Mykolenko would have Saka in his back pocket, and I'm always hoping that I'm wrong, but it proved right. And again, I don't really want to get back to Saka, but Alan Smith actually said, he's so good, Saka, he just does everything so well. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, is he like watching the same game? It's unbelievable, the bias that some players, some people see. Is it because the rest of the team are so bad that he actually looked half decent? I don't think it was his worst game, but there was so many times, I'm not going to go on about it, but there's so many times that we that you look at it and you think, just pass it, square it, shoot, pass it. What are you doing? Are you going past someone or you're not? Are you just going to lay it back, square, backwards, sideways? You're going to beat a man? No, you can't, sorry. But anyway, yeah.
Many times he found himself going up against the defenders, because they doubled up on him, standard. But that's it. Once you block both of his sides, where's he going to go? And they know that's what's going to happen. They know he's waiting.
He's predictable.
He's waiting for someone to get into that box. For the first thing he needs to do is cross it in, and the second thing it seems to be take a player on, which it should be the other way around. Especially for a player like Saka and the high regard that he's kept. But yeah, it's the British bias is shocking, and I feel I was listening to, as I messaged you throughout the week, I was listening to other Arsenal podcasts and the way that they were praising Saka, especially in the Wolves match, and I'm thinking, what? Are you okay? So I had to turn it off. I genuinely had to turn it off. And these are people I've respected for a long time. And I'm thinking, right, okay, you need to just stop talking about Saka like this, because he's not that guy. Like, he just isn't that guy. He was that guy until better guys came along. Guys
2 seasons ago.
Yeah, guys on par with him came along. Then it made him look average. So yeah, I obviously, again, about Saka, I'm in agreement with you. I haven't seen anything to sort of boast about, especially this season, and the numbers that he's posted up. It's like, whatever, man. Like that's nowhere near good enough. But so going on throughout the whole match, Jack Grealish, obviously he was a bit of a nuisance, wasn't he? He was everywhere. He was a good player, very fucking good player. Someone we should be considering, really, or should have considered. To be honest.
He's 30, isn't he? I think, but. He's one of the most. He's a player that he's very, very good at protecting the ball, isn't he? I always think. And
absolutely.
He can't get the ball off him. He's very strong, and he's direct. He can see a pass. He's got intelligence. He's 30 years old. You wouldn't want to pay 100 million for him, but if you could get him for 20 million for 2 seasons. He's not a bad player, is he?
Yeah,
he's as good as Martinelli. He's as good as Trossard on the day. So
I agree. And again, he brings that extra element of where he will get fouled, and he would get fouled in places where where it's beneficial to the team. So
absolutely.
So it's someone who should have been considered, to be honest, and especially with the Man City links. I'm surprised it wasn't even on the cards. But there you go. Again, Man City. Why would they sell or loan a player like that to a direct rival who could potentially improve them a lot more than this season, really? But yeah. So look, like I said, Everton didn't do much to really threaten us, but for example, when someone like a Beto came in, he kind of bullied Saliba a little bit. Not gonna lie,
he did
a couple of times. I was like, ooh, okay, that was a bit naughty. That
I thought Saliba had a great game up until Beto came on,
exactly.
And then it was like, what the fuck are you doing, Saliba? He's the coolest cucumber out there.
And then all of a sudden, like, what the fuck? You're right. As soon as Beto came on, and then obviously the whole was the penalty shout before Beto or after Beto? I can't remember.
It was before Beto.
Was it before Beto? So again, maybe he was on the decline before Beto, so he wasn't scared of him specifically, But yeah. So real quick on that penalty, shout. What do you think? Was it a penalty? Was it not? What do you think?
I think I would be devastated if Arsenal didn't get it, because we've seen them given 9 times out of 10 on that sort of thing. But yeah, I think they found our weakness, and especially when Beto came on. They were just pumping balls into the box, and it was causing a bit of chaos at times, and that kind of did cause the chaos where I know Saliba was getting pulled, he was having his shirt pulled, but at the same time I think if they'd give it, I was watching it and I thought they're going to give this. I was very surprised they didn't give it personally. Don't know about you.
Yeah, on initial look he looked like he kicked him, but then you look again, this is why VAR exists, right? So they can look at these tedious things. But the ball hits the knee of Saliba, and then Saliba obviously tries to kick the ball up. He wasn't even looking at the other player lifting his foot to kick the ball. So yeah, I understand why they didn't give it. But yeah, if I had to use the rule of if it was the other way around, I'd probably be a little bit devastated to not have that as a penalty. But there you go. Sometimes it has to work in your favour, and this time it did. I like it. I really like it. And obviously last week against Wolves, it worked in our favour because they scored all 3 goals. 2 goals for us. So yeah, if we're that good that we're making other teams work for us, okay, bring it on. That's a new tactic that I've never seen before. So hopefully it's working. I don't know. We push teams to the edge where they're like, do you know what? Fuck it, we'll score for you, you bastards.
But they're boring us to death. Yeah, fuck's sake, just have a goal.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to keep Mikel Arteta on as much as we can. But yeah, so for me, in terms of the match, Trossard had a big chance. curled into the top corner, obviously hit the post, and then we hit the post minutes after that as well.
Yeah.
Which was, I think, look, after the second post, yes, it was a little bit late on, but I that's when I was like, right, this game is either going to be a draw, we're just going to drag out a 1-0 here, because it had, again, all the hallmarks of fucking all the signs of us conceding a goal or two by the end. But luckily we didn't. And at some point, the luck that we're experiencing will run out. And again, unfortunately for us, it will run out at the wrong time of the season, which has been the case. Look, other points of note. Gyökeres looked a little bit better. He made some runs behind the defence. Is it enough from him?
Get the ball, or he didn't get past two.
Exactly. I mean, is it enough from him? No, definitely. Like I've written that, it's definitely not enough from him. But I could see the little bit of movements. You know, him coming back from injury, and Wolves being his first game. Was Wolves his first game, or was it Bruges?
Yeah.
Okay. Wolves. So,
no, Bruges. I think he was half. He got half. Yeah, Bruges was his first game, wasn't it? He got like 15. He had a first half, didn't he? Or 15 minutes or something.
So obviously he's still coming back from injury and stuff. So I can always chalk it up to that. But there's only so long that's going to work. So
yeah.
But
I think Arteta's only given him like 60 minutes, 65 minutes. That them 3 games he got similar sort of times, didn't he? Yeah. So maybe he's just building him up slowly. But I'd have kept him on all game personally.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Again, Marino came on and
didn't do much.
Jesus came on, didn't do anything, did he?
No, they didn't do much at all. So look, I think Gyökeres could have been the better option going up against their defence, because they could have, you know, they're prone to making mistakes. So. But yeah, one thing I did enjoy was the sort of movement of Nkapia and Calafiori, and just sort of like, you know, overloading the left hand side, and you see them up in the striker position, and you think, I like what you're doing. So this is a little bit better movement, or little bit better positioning than it was against Wolves, because that was you might as well just camped in their box, really. That's how high up we were. But this match, again, you saw the movements, again, like I said, very dynamic between Calafiori, Trossard, Nkapia, you know, sort of interweaving with each other, and like I said, almost overloading the left hand side. Not really much came from it, obviously, but you know, it was a different tactic. Maybe sort of like, okay, let's start it off on the left and then push it back to the right. There was times when Saka obviously moved to the left hand side very briefly just to try something, but you know, it wasn't enough tactical change for it to make a massive difference.
It just, I know what you mean there. It's like Saka. I saw Saka go over to the left. It just looked like he was aimlessly on that side, but not actually doing anything. I thought, is that just like, I'll just go over there just to change it up because I'm not getting any success on the right? It was just so, I don't know. I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? It just didn't work. And yeah, I know what you're saying. Oh, to change it up a bit, but it didn't work. They were just like getting in each other's way.
Yeah. Obviously, look, like I said, it would have been better if we'd actually, you know, if we'd won that game convincingly, then that would have been one of the highlights of the team, really. But because the way that it ended, you know, you start looking at the more of the minutiae of what they were doing. But yeah, I like it because, again, if we had a better left winger, I think that would have just been excellent, because, you know, make a run again. Madueke, for example, he's not the best on the left, but fucking try him. You got Saka on one side, you got Madueke on the other side. They're both tricky wingers, so fucking try them. I don't understand the problem.
I don't know why they don't put Saka on the left, because he was a left back, wasn't he?
Yeah,
in his early days. Yeah. Put Saka on the left wing and put Madueke on the right. Utilise them both. Imagine that.
But they want Saka to take on a player. That's why they put him on the right. You know, take on a player, swing to the left, and then come inside. But you know, how about you just make him go outside? He's got a fucking good cross on him. You got Gyökeres in there. If you want to have another fucking good player, you got Rice, and you can even put Marino on. If you're going to play that sort of game, put Madueke on the right. If not, you can swap him. Again, there's many options, Stevie, and we fall into the realm of repeating ourselves, so I don't really want to. Yeah, okay. Look, before we move on, is there anything else for the match that you want to bring up? Any points of note?
Yeah, I just think it was, again, we're just going over all ground. It was like we're 1-0 up, and there was like 9 minutes or something of injury time, wasn't there, I think? And we go into the corner to see out the game. Why? We've spent nearly 300 million, and we're going into the corner against Everton instead of thinking, right, let's go and get another goal. Let's go and get 2 goals. This is ultimately down to Arteta and his fear of losing. The players, like I say to you, the players aren't playing with freedom. They're playing with fear. And this is ultimately going to come back and ruin our season because of Arteta. And people say, oh no, Arteta, he's made us relevant again. Yes, he has, but he's proven that he can't get us over the line in these last 6 years because of his fear and his inability to let the players, play with the freedom and attacking and stuff like that. It was, oh my God, obviously Calafiori at one point, I remember thinking, just pass it forward. There was no one marking. So I know it was Jesus at one point. I think it was like 80th minute or something. And I thought, there's space there. Give it to Jesus. He'll turn. He's just outside the 18-yard box. And he went back. And then it ended up with the Reyes. And I'm thinking, we had a caught. Honestly, I was absolutely screaming at the TV. It's so negative. It's so negative and so playing in fear. I'm not surprised everyone's like up in arms about it and don't think we'll probably win it because of this negativity that it's instilled. If Trossard had scored that second goal or Zubameni scored, we probably would have played with a bit more freedom, and we did start to play with freedom when Gyökeres scored. You notice we actually were passing it quite quickly. The tempo was good, and it looks so much better. But as soon as then the negative, just sort of the negative cloud comes in, we can't lose, and Arteta will probably be saying this, that and the other, and it's like, right, let's go sideways, backwards, back the keeper, bring on more pressure, and then it just gets like, hanging on, and it can't go on. And
I agree. And this is why we're trying to, we said these are points of concern from the beginning of the season. By the way, these aren't just even right now. These are from the beginning of the season, and these are points that we really wanted to avoid. These situations that we wanted to avoid this season. But unfortunately, here we are again, and the fear is a real thing, and that's probably the only way to describe what's been happening to our team. So. Look, Stevie, we're going to see what's going to happen against Crystal Palace, but we'll do a quick prediction right at the end. But I tell you what, should we do some categorising? Should we do some hierarchical?
I was just obviously, I was going to say as well, you sent me a message earlier about Semenyo, and he is the ultimate. He's the ultimate player for Arsenal, but. Like I've said it in the past, Eze, Monieri, Madueke, he'll drill it out of them. He'll take all that creativity out of them. If Semenyo came to Arsenal, it would ruin his career. That's my personal opinion. I'd love to see Semenyo at Arsenal. I'd love to see Rodrigo. I'd love to see Leao or Rodgers, someone like that ilk. He just takes that freedom, that instinct, that flair out of them.
Yeah.
He doesn't allow them to be that, does he?
He's a vampire, really, isn't he? He literally just sucks the fucking joy out of their playing style, which is just it's incredible the power that he has to do that. By the way, and absolutely. And this was the fear for us as well as fans. We said, oh, Eze, but what's going to happen to him? Is he going to be free to play, or is he going to be a bit more rigid as a player? Unfortunately, yes, he's had a bit of both, but Arteta's leaning more towards the rigid side. It's like you need to let a player like that free. You just need to let him do his fucking thing. But it's again the negativity, the fear, everything is coming back again, and it's it's right around the same time of the year that it always happens. So we're going into Christmas fucking top, but what's going to happen by New Year's? That's a week away, 2 weeks away, whatever it is. So look, let's go into some categorizing.
Categories. You might not agree with me, but what I'm going to say first of all, now, the worst 4 players I've picked out. First one was Zubamendi.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I've gone for Odegaard as well. I've also gone Calafiori and Saka. They were my 4. I mean, you might not think Calafiori, but I thought after watching how negative he was at one point, and he gave away a silly yellow card as well, and I thought, that's a bit. That's just either inexperience or the fact is that he just can't cope with and God help us if, by the way, if is it Njai? If Njai is that his name, Njai? If he was playing as well as I think is it Gay as well, or Idrissa Gay? If them two were playing, we'd have lost that game because Calafiori wouldn't be able to contain Njai.
Yeah,
and that's
that's fair. I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, for me, Calafiori, I thought he had a decent game. Yeah, a couple of mistakes, but definitely not in my worst 3 players of the match. I think I agree with you in Zubamendi. I agree with you in Saka. And for me, unfortunately, it has to be Trossard in there as well.
Odegaard was mine. I didn't rate Odegaard at all. negative. Everything just seems to slow down so much when he gets on the ball.
I didn't even realise he played, to be honest. So that's how bad it was. Yeah, that's how bad it was. And again, that's our captain, by the way. So that's a bit fucking worrying. But look, so we're in agreement, mate. And the thing for me is in terms of the worst players, the eye test can't lie, right? No. It doesn't matter what you feel about the players, and we try to be as fair as possible here. We said about Trossard at the beginning, we were like, a bit shit. Then he became good. We're like, yeah, Trossard's fucking improved, blah blah blah. He had a shit game against Everton, so we've called it out, but that doesn't mean we hate any of these players, as we keep fucking saying. But unfortunately, the eye test does not lie, and we saw what happened. We've seen what's happened with the Sakas and stuff like that. If we were talking shit or just being negative, we would have been shit about the whole team. We'd be like, oh, fucking Rice didn't do fucking his best or this and that. I said, well, they did, you know what I mean? Realistically, Odegaard, Saka and Trossard didn't do fucking shit. Apart from that one shot on that hit the crossbar. But, is that enough? Can you justify that shit? No, I don't think so. So it was frustrating because it's like a trio of the front line that it's not really gelling together right now. And I know they're opposite sort of sides, but when you've got Odegaard and Saka in the same line not doing much, and then you've got Trossard not doing much on the other side, it just makes it difficult to have any fluidity within the team, especially from the forwards. Like I mentioned, the defenders, they were doing their runs, they were making their runs. Rice was hovering around outside of the box. Zubamendi was doing the same. Obviously, he had that shot, but what the hell? Where's our fucking attackers? What is happening? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, there's no creativity. There isn't. Odegaard's not a creative player.
Not a bit of creativity. Not a fucking pass that cut through the defence. Nothing. And it's so frustrating because you expect it from, you expect that shit from Odegaard, but then it's Rice that pops up and does a nice pass or a nice little dink, and you think, right, this guy cannot physically do everything. This is where the team needs to fucking stand up. So again, going back to what we said many times, captain material, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
He had a captain's performance for me.
He did. So. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so I've gone for the next four, in my opinion, again, average. So I've gone Trossard in this one. I've gone for Timber. I've gone for Gyökeres. And obviously Raya, he's just like an average. Obviously Gyökeres had a slightly better game. He scored a goal, and I like the way he took it. That took a lot of balls to step up. When he hasn't scored, there's a lot of pressure on him. I would have liked to see him put him the wrong way with a lot of confidence, but bloody hell, he hit it hard enough to, I don't think he would have saved it even if he'd got a hand to it. So, big up to Gyökeres for that. He only had 60 odd minutes, so that was good. Timber played okay.
Yeah. But sorry, is that a symptom of Odegaard and Saka not playing well?
What sticks out with Timber for me was the pass that he played back to Saka instead of whipping it into the box where Gyökeres was, and we're crying out for that sort of player to get into the box to be that number 9, and he was there, and all Timber had to do was square it, and it was a tap in. Even if it had missed it, then it would be all on Gyökeres' back. But he laid it back for Saka, and Saka hit it first time with his right foot, and he had no one around him. Just take a touch with your left. Someone like Foden, someone like Palmer, I don't know, or Rodgers, someone like of that ilk where we putting them in this elevated world class kind of status, which Saka clearly isn't. And it was just like, why have you passed it to Saka? I understand because he did a 1-2 with him, but fuck's sake, man! The most obvious ball was across the 6 yard, to Odegaard. Fucking hell, my mind. To Gyökeres, and I think Trossard was at the back post as well. So if it had missed him, Trossard would have probably put it in. So anyway, that was my fault. The other side of average game.
That's fair. For me, in terms of average game, definitely put Calafiori in there. Definitely put Gyökeres in there. And
Timber,
and Timber, you're absolutely right. Just very average games. Nothing really. They didn't provide much or anything effective. So, in Calafiori, as obviously we just discussed him, but I really do like him as a player. So again, this is not fucking they hate Calafiori. No, I've never hate Calafiori. That's crazy. But sometimes they're going to have the weaker games, and this was one of them. To be fair. In terms of Raya, by the way, sorry, I'm just going to leave him out because he just does what he did. He wasn't really tested too much, if at all, really. So he gets that average 7 across the board, and
he
not
still
in a
gives
bad
me a
way.
heart attack every now and again, though. When that,
you
see, he's a bit nervous, isn't he, on the ball still?
Yeah, he made that mistake.
Did you see it?
Yeah, he put his hand up. He apologised. He knew he did wrong. He knew.
Did you see the other one as well? I think I can't remember the guy's name. Not Beto, the other one that was playing.
Was it Barry?
Barry, that's right. He was chasing him down, and I was like thinking, oh my God, get rid of it. And he pretended to pass it, didn't he? And he took him out, and he actually sort of feigned to do it. And I was thinking, oh my God, you're going to give me a heart attack. Just play the ball easy. When I look at Martinez, what he does for Villa, he looks so calm, doesn't he, on the ball? And anyone that's chasing him down, he's so comfortable. You never ever think that he's going to give the wrong pass. With Raya, my only concern is that he doesn't see danger. And that's my only concern. I don't mind when he puts it out wide because it's not near the goal, but sometimes you just, heart in mouth kind of thing. But
risk taker. Yeah. That's why Arteta brought him. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, so he gets his own category. But in terms of look, mate.
I've gone for my next category was good.
I was going to say sorry. I can't really put anyone in the good category because
I put Saliba in there.
Okay, that's fair. Sorry, yeah, I forgot about the actual defenders. Yeah, so Saliba and Capia for me. Yeah, I thought they had a good game, both of them. Saliba a little bit shaky at the end, but
yes, he was. Yeah, but that was to sort of be expected with the big guy going up against him. But no, the next category I've gone for very good because obviously I couldn't separate these two, so I've gone very good. Then man of the match. Okay. Very good for me was Hincapié.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought him alone. He rectified his mistakes against Villa, and I thought he was really good. He was very intense. He had a lot of tempo. A lot of the other defenders seem to be one pace, kind of like, we've got plenty of time. He's actually, he wants to get ahead. He wants to get the ball going fast, and that's probably come from his Leverkusen time. I just hope it doesn't get drilled out of him like Arteta does. But no, to me, very good. And he pushed Rice for man of the match, to be fair. But just obviously just fell short of it. But no, I do like Hincapié. I hope he keeps his place at left back when Gabriel comes back, because I think he's great, and I think he's, like I said to you at the start of the season,
you did.
He could be the difference for us winning the league.
You did
if he starts. Yeah,
and look, I hate to say it, but yeah, your prediction may actually come true. But that's fair. That's fair. I can see why you're putting Capia in that category. But for me, I was going to say, like, for me, from average to man of the match, that there's a massive gap there because I don't really apart from obviously like we said, the defenders. But yeah, and then you had your man of the match who was just, I felt in Declan Rice. Shit, sorry about that, Miles. In Declan Rice, who was just head and shoulders above everyone else. To be honest, about everything, he was just fucking everywhere. He was brilliant with his passing, brilliant with his interceptions, his defending. Honestly, sometimes it's underrated, his defending, because he's such a strong fucking player. And yeah, when he sort of sets pace, like sets off, he's a galloper. Do you know what I mean? But like a fucking Mustang type galloper. So yeah, 100% man of the match, absolutely no doubt from me. Obviously, if he'd got a goal, he would have capped it off. But yeah, just overall performance, definitely right up there. But yeah, I like that, by the way, Stevie. I actually prefer that to the player ratings, to be honest. Can we maybe we can stick to that? Stick to that a little bit. That sounds good. Sounds good to me, man. But yeah, look, sorry, I am on 9%, by the way. I will have to say that out loud because literally my laptop is making noise.
Yeah, that's fine, mate. We'll wrap it up in a minute.
But before we do, we do have a match, obviously, tomorrow, Tuesday, as we record. It is Tuesday, isn't it? The match, yeah, of course.
Tuesday, tomorrow, yeah.
So we face Crystal Palace at home for the EFL Cup. Right, hit me with some quick fire predictions and potential lineups, man.
Okay, mate. Yeah, no, just quickly, just getting back to how good Rice was. Yeah, I thought he was absolutely fantastic, and he is obviously up there for. I think Timber was the first 10 games, and I think was player of the season. But I think Rice is now pushing him, and I think obviously any more performances like that, I think he obviously is player of the season for me. But can you imagine Rice with someone like Rodgers alongside him?
Yeah, it's
imagine how good we'd be.
Yeah, he's, like I said, we've
got Odegaard, haven't we? And to me, we could have that perfect. We could have Eze if he gets his game and he is allowed to play with the freedom that Rodgers does. But this is the problem, and this is why we'll probably ultimately fail, because if you think of Rice and how good he is up and down the pitch, he's everywhere, isn't he? He's breaking play up, he's defending, he's corners, he's shooting, he's passing, he's brilliant. And imagine if he had someone like Rodgers, which we have in Eze, but allowed to, play with the freedom that they like to play and the best gets brought out of them, we would be unstoppable. We wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't be only 2 points ahead. We'd probably still be 7 or 8. But that's all I wanted to say on it. And I think,
that's fair. That's fair.
It will come to a head at some point. Throughout the next couple of months. But
yeah, absolutely.
Palace.
Right. So in terms of lineups, I want to see Madueke. I want to see
100%.
I want to see Nwaneri and
100%.
And obviously maybe a potential start for Gabby Jesus as well. But
I want to see Jesus. Yeah. Go on.
I was just gonna say maybe even give this match to fucking Gyökeres as well. But potentially he'll get a bit of a rest, at least the first half anyway. That's the way I look at it. But yeah, for me, Madueke definitely one. Eze, I think he's going to start anyway.
Yeah.
And maybe Nwaneri. I think that's those.
I'd like to see Kepa. I'd like to see Odegaard.
Yeah.
I want to see Skelly on there. I want to see Marino. I want to see Marino, Eze, and Nwaneri in midfield with Madueke on the right, maybe Martinelli and Jesus. I want to see that kind of mix up.
Yeah.
I want to see something where everyone thinks, at least he's trying. But if it's the same suspects, if Rice is playing, if Odegaard's playing, if Severini's playing, I think, I would say I'm kind of done.
I agree. I agree with exactly what you just said there, by the way. Those are the players that I definitely want to see. Maybe, I don't know if it's.
Do you want to see Kepa?
I want to see Kepa. Yeah, of course I do. I think you should definitely give a run out to the backup keeper. Like 100%. He's not a bad keeper. He does have his moments, but give him a fucking chance. I want to see him play. I want to see some fresh faces. I wouldn't mind a mixture of them, but definitely I don't want to see Rice, and definitely I don't want to see Saka in this match. Saka not because of fitness reasons, just because reasons really. So yeah, I think that's a very good shout for the for a predicted lineup. Obviously, we'll see what tomorrow brings, I guess. But quick prediction then. What are we saying?
They got hammered in there on Saturday night.
Palace, yeah,
and they had all the team out. I did think Leeds had beat them actually, because obviously they played on Thursday and obviously they got hammered on Saturday. Were they waiting? Were they holding the players back? But no, they had all the big guns out. Mateta, they had everyone out.
And they probably have people out at the same for this match as well. To be honest, I don't think they'll rotate as much. Oh, where's he gone? Where's he gone? He's gone. He's a goner. Damn it. Stevie, where you gone? Oh, no. If that's the case, then we will... Okay, if this is how it's going to end, then unfortunately it is going to end because the laptop has died and Stevie is just completely frozen. I don't know where he's gone, but there you go. So, okay, we will wrap it up there, and I will post out Stevie's prediction on our socials. And so that's unfortunate. It really is, because it has the laptop has completely died, and we will be, I'll come back, and hopefully we won't have any more technical difficulties. But it happens, and this is what happens when you're just a little bit disorganized. And I'm sure. Do you know what? We can probably get Stevie on the phone right now just to give us his prediction. Let's do that instead. Stevie.
You ran out of battery.
Yeah, battery has died, but good news is that I've got you online here. We do have Stevie from up north with the prediction, Stevie.
Okay, mate. Yes, I think we'll actually beat them 2-0.
2-0?
A solid performance. I think it could even be more, actually.
Wow. Even with a rotated team?
Yeah, I think we'll be too strong for them. I just think that we're due a performance. Yeah. I'd rather it be against Brighton, and I'd take it a 1-0 win for tomorrow, scruffy 1-0. But I do think we'll be a bit too strong for them.
Wow. Okay. I mean that's Yeah, okay, 2-0. That's a bit. I was going to say like a 2-1, maybe a 1-0. To be honest, like from what I've seen, I'm just not really convinced. But yeah, I don't know. 2-1 probably, or like a 1-0 for me. I'm going to go 1-0 actually. It's just a rotated team. I don't know how they're going to play together. Not all of them have played together like for a long period of time. So I don't know, man. And again, having Kepa in goal, that could always be a factor of us sort of losing. I hope not, of course. I know it's a bit negative, I know, but I'm just pointing out some statistical facts right there. So, you know.
Yeah, it depends what team he plays, doesn't it? If he makes wholesale changes, then, you know, it could be a 3-1, 3-2, 2-1, whatever, like you say.
Yeah.
It just all depends. It depends on the team and the mentality, and it's not the league, is it? It's just a cup competition. So I do think the cup competitions do favour us a bit better because it's not worrying that, you know, we've got to be perfect. We can get away with the odd mistake.
Yeah.
Even if it was a draw, it goes straight to penalties. You know what I mean? So sometimes I think that the cup competitions are a bit less pressure.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and again, we need to, in a way, we do need to take them a little bit seriously as well. We can't, you know, go for like, oh, we won Champions League or no trophy. No, we need fucking trophies, as we've said many times before. So yeah, look, it should be an interesting game. I look forward to knowing Arteta. I don't think he's going to heavily rotate the squad. I think he's going to have the usual suspects because it's a Premier League team, and I could even see David Raya in goal. To be honest, like I know he shouldn't be, but I can even see him in goal. To be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I'll tell you what, Stevie, we will leave it there, mate. It's been, I'll be honest, it's been fun. It's been a challenge, but we got there in the end. We will get this episode out for everyone. We'll cut out the 2 minutes of when everything just sort of broke up, and obviously the ending. Yeah, we'll be, you know, caller from Northeast. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, and yeah, I'll put this.
Okay, mate, yeah,
okay.
You.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's, you know, you have to do the whole outro and stuff. So, right. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. Until then, stay safe, stay alert.
Oui, oui.
All right, we're going.